Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I think if I heard the council clearly, he's saying that they are willing to sacrifice more minutes from the other witness. And if they think this is what is going to help their case, Madam Speaker, we would want to hear them. And also I would want to remind the House, if we are time-bound, we should also be thinking and knowing that also the assemblies are time-bound, if you know what I mean.
Senator Cheptumo, you have a point of order.
Madam Speaker, I also want to request you, because Madam Speaker, if the council for the county assembly is ready and willing to surrender a portion of their time, and Madam Speaker, they are saying that they have a critical area of their evidence to cross-examine this witness. Madam Speaker, I don't want the House to be accused. I know we don't have time, but it will be a big issue that they never got a time to finalize a small area within only 3 or 4 minutes. Madam Speaker, I plead that you consider your ruling. I want to support what Senator Kiambu is proposing. It should be fair for this House.
Because the issue is the same, I will allow one more intervention from Senator Enoch, and then I will make a ruling on it.
Madam Speaker, it is the same plea. Listening to the council for the assembly, they are not asking to spend more time than they have. They're just asking to spend their time differently. I had another witness here say it's the way he manages his finances. So they just want to manage their time differently. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
In view of the mood in the House and the fact that you will just take your minutes from another witness, I want you now to make a proposition on how many minutes you want to take from your other witnesses, and then we allocate you that to finalize.
Madam Speaker, you only take 6 minutes.
6 minutes, and Secretariat, will you take away the 6 minutes from their other time schedule? Before you proceed on, Senator Methu, and in under half a minute.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'll take a very little time. I thought as part of procedure, it is fair that the council would let us know which of the witnesses they are taking the minutes from, so that we know specifically from whom they are taking the minutes from, so that we don't get the witness and then they backtrack they know what they had donated.
Senator Methu, to array your fears, I will ensure that we take out those minutes from either of their witnesses. We could even proceed from 3 minutes from each of the witnesses. He's taking 6 minutes, and the Secretariat can begin timing, and it will be strict.
Thank you.
Council General.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. When did Lucy refund the money to you?
Lucy refunded the money on the 30th of May, Madam Speaker.
From the 29th up to the 30th, did you try to call her to ask why she has not refunded your money?
Madam Speaker, I talked to Lucy and she told me she was at the airport in Nairobi landing for a meeting.
Yes, which day did you speak to her?
I'm explaining, Madam Speaker, that I talked to Lucy
Which date?
on the 29th.
On the 29th?
Yes.
Yes. And the money was refunded on?
The 30th, the next day.
I yield the witness to Mr. Mutuma.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and good afternoon, Deputy Governor of Kisii.
Good afternoon.
I have 2 or 3 questions on one line of questioning. You allege that the money you sent to Lucy was meant to be paid to one Gladys.
Yes,
And that is Gladys Aminga, right?
right?
You have also indicated that it was meant for transport
Yes.
for a work that
Yes,
she had done for you.
work that was ongoing.
Work that
Madam
was ongoing.
Speaker.
Yes. You forgot to mention that the reality, of course, that Gladys Aminga is also a chief officer in the county government of Kisii.
That is true.
You left that out. Is it that you forgot or you conveniently left that out?
I did not forget nor intentionally leaving it out. Gladys Aminga was doing business as a person, and therefore she gave me a transport. I wasn't paying the government of Kisii
So you
County.
and Gladys were in business, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. And have you had the opportunity to look at the statement that Gladys wrote when you first dragged her name in the county assembly? Honorable Senators, I'm referring to page 315 of the DG's response. Have you had the occasion to look at that statement? Volume 1, sorry. It's our volume 1. It's at volume 1, page 315. This is quite crucial, Honorable Senators. You have the statement with you? Do you have the statement with you?
I have the statement with me, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Gladys says that on 28th of January 2022, your wife made a request for her nephew to be granted a tender to supply non-pharmaceutical materials. Can you confirm that?
I cannot confirm that, Madam Speaker.
You cannot confirm that? Gladys goes ahead to say that you called and forced her to grant the tender, and the tenders are cited and quoted at paragraph 317.
Madam Speaker, I request that we are taken through that affirmation.
It is at page 317 from page 315. Specifically, do you know one Osiemo Bernard Mogengo? Is that your nephew? Or the nephew to your wife?
I do not know that name.
You do not know that name?
Yes.
Do you know a company called Bisfarm?
I do not know the company named Bisfarm in this statement.
Gladys states that you influenced the issuance of this tender and promised that you would also give her an opportunity to supply you with building materials.
Madam Speaker, I'm asking that we be taken through that particular line where I'm being led.
All right, can you read paragraph at page 315, the paragraph that begins, I became the chief officer. Volume 1, Honorable Senator of the County Assembly's response. Page 315. First of all, confirm at the top, the person who swears that statement is Gladys Aminga.
Yeah, the name is Gladys Aminga.
Confirm that 0727455843 is the same number you sent money to, and that number belongs to Gladys. That number appears at the top, correct? Correct?
Let me refer.
That is the same number, correct? That is the same number, correct?
Yes, that's the same number.
Confirm that the designation of this person swearing the statement is Chief Officer, Medical Services, Public and Sanitation, Kisii County Government, correct? From the statement, correct?
Correct.
Can you read for us the paragraph that begins with, I became the Chief Officer on 28th of January?
I became the chief officer on 28 January 2023 after being competitively recruited.
Thank you.
By the
Jump to the next page, 316. Begin with today, 29th February 2024.
Day 29 February 2024, while defending himself in the impeachment motion, mentioned my name by stating that he sent me money through M-Pesa in the month of May 2023. I wish to put the record straight as follows.
Proceed. Proceed, kindly.
What's this?
In the month
In the month of May 2023, the Deputy Governor's wife, Joyce Monda.
Is that your
who
wife? Confirm
is-
for record purposes, Joyce Monda?
She's Joyce Unsare. She's not Joyce Monda.
But Monda is yourself, right? So it is correct if she is referred to as Joyce Monda.
Monda is my surname.
Proceed.
Who is known to me, called me and asked me to assist her nephew who had two companies in the supply of medical drugs and non-pharmaceuticals. She what?
Council, you know your time is up.
Yes.
The nephew by the name Musiemo Bernard Mogengo. Where do I stop?
I think you can stop there because the statement is clear and senators are able to read. That allegation is that the amount of 100,000 you're paying to Gladys was as a result of you allowing her to work for you in exchange of the tenders that she had granted to the nephew to your wife. What do you have to say to that?
Madam Speaker, I deny having knowledge of that kind of position.
Mr. Deputy Governor, Doctor, you were supplied with these documents in advance, correct?
No, Madam Speaker, these documents...
These are parts of the documents that the County Assembly supplied you with, correct?
No, Madam Speaker.
Are you saying that your council does not have a copy of these documents? Is that what you're saying? Because we know it is true and your council will respond. Have you made any attempt to respond to the allegations on that statement? You have not. You have not challenged that allegation that you had knowledge of, have you?
You want me to respond?
Yes, proceed.
Council, your time is now up.
Madam Speaker, she's giving direction.
Give your final answer on that.
Madam Speaker, on the date this is being made, this statement is being made, is the day I was undergoing the impeachment.
The question
on
was,
the floor of the House.
The question was,
and it is referring to that impeachment process that I had mentioned her name.
The question is, have you responded to that allegation that you had knowledge of?
Council, can you let him answer?
Thank you. I just wanted her, Madam Speaker, to answer the right question, whether he has responded to these allegations, because he had knowledge of them. Proceed and answer. Kindly answer that question. Have you responded?
Madam Speaker,
have you responded? It's a yes or no?
No.
So Lucy was not the only person working with the county that you sought to influence. You've been influencing other county officers as well. That is all for this witness. Thank you.
Council Kagan, how much time do you need for re-exam?
Could I request for 15 minutes, Madam Speaker?
Could you be 10 minutes, Council?
Okay, I'll try, Madam Speaker.
10 minutes.
Yes. I would like us to start with the issue of Gladys Aminga. Now, the first thing I would like to ask you is the question of whether or not you've responded. When were these documents served? Were they served, the statement from Gladys Aminga, was it part of the documents you were served with at the point of your appearance at the County Assembly?
No, Madam Speaker.
And they were served when this motion was presented to the Senate, isn't it?
Yes, Madam Speaker.
And have you had an occasion where you could have filed a response to that statement?
There has not been any opportunity, Madam Speaker.
Okay. Now, I would like us to discuss the contents of that statement. My colleague repeatedly asked you whether it is true that you forced Gladys Aminga to give a tender. And the first thing I would like you to confirm, do you know this person mentioned in this statement? This Osiemo Bernard Mogengo, do you know him?
I do not know him, Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker.
He's referred to as a nephew of your wife. Do you know that relationship? Are you aware of that relationship?
Madam Speaker, if he's a relative of my wife has not brought him to me for introduction, so I do not know.
Now, you've been asked also whether you know some two companies associated with that Osiemo Bernard, namely Peace Farm and Mobichem. Do you know the two companies?
No, Madam Speaker.
Now, you went through the statement together with my colleague on what he was referring to. Did you see anywhere where it is said that you forced her to give any tenders to anybody?
No, Madam Speaker.
Now, it is said that the payment was in consideration, the 100,000 was in consideration of having given out tenders. You remember that allegation? Now, you recall the question being put to you that it is alleged that you were sending this money because you had influenced some tenders. You remember that?
Yes, that was the question.
Now, what was the purpose of the 100,000?
Madam Speaker, the 100,000 was part payment towards transport services that I got from one Gladys Aminga for construction materials.
Now, I would like us to read what Gladys says and confirm whether she confirms that the payment was for services rendered.
Gladys says, and I read, he paid me through M-Pesa for the supply of sand and ballast. I have since learned that I made a mistake in giving the LPOs and I have never repeated. That is all I wish to state. That is Gladys Aminga.
And so Gladys Aminga very explicitly explains that the payment, the remittance of 100,000 was a payment for services of transport and supply of sand and ballast, isn't it?
That is true.
And that's what you are paying for yourself?
That's what I was paying for.
Does Aminga, to the best of your knowledge, say anywhere that you personally told her to give tenders to anybody?
No, where she said that.
Yeah, okay. Now I'd like us to move on to a different issue. You've been asked whether you are asked to confirm that indeed you had a conversation with Lucy about the employment bid by Dennis Misato. You remember that?
Yes, I remember.
And you said you mentioned it to Lucy.
I did mention it to Lucy, Madam Speaker.
Okay. Now, when you say, when you were taken then to the affidavit of Lucy, do you agree with the way Lucy has explained about that issue of how you met?
No, I do not agree.
More specifically, did you summon her?
No, Madam Speaker, I have not summoned Lucy for this kind of discussion.
For emphasis, in what circumstances did you meet Lucy at which you mentioned this issue?
I met Lucy in a function we had with the governor in the stadium where our officers are, and I mentioned this position by my friend, Misati.
Okay, then it is said that you are struggling, you do not have funds, you are a pauper, and what do you have to say about that?
Poverty, Madam Speaker, is relative. It depends on who is affirming that. In the eyes of one, it could be I'm a pauper. In my own eyes, I'm an honorable deputy governor of the Kisii County.
Let's talk about more in terms of your circumstances. Are you able to underwrite your liabilities and obligations?
Yes, Madam Speaker.
You are able to meet your obligations?
Yes, Madam Speaker.
And in that sense, you are not struggling, or are you struggling?
I'm not struggling.
Okay. Now, when Mr. Joseph Misati chose to say that you are struggling, was that a communication you had passed on to him? Had you told him that I'm struggling, or how did that come up?
It's not my position. Mr. Misati made a general statement about his understanding of those of us, yes, of those of us who are politicians.
Okay. Now, questions were asked about whether or not you've involved children in repayment of your debts in the previous relationship with Mr. Joseph Misati. And my question is, on this day, did you know that Mr. Misati was coming with his children?
No, I didn't know.
You didn't know. And did you agree with Mr. Misati how the children would be involved in him refunding the money you had lent him in November 2022?
No, Madam Speaker.
Whose decision and judgment was it on how how the money was to get to you?
It was Mr. Misati's.
It was Mr. Misati who chose how he wanted to send you?
Misati Joseph, yes.
Okay. I would like us to look at the Hansard, page 191, where you are asked about whether you slept after sending the money, page 191 of the Hansard.